Hi guys. I am a little bit late today. I apologize. I got stuck in line somewhere. But just opening my paints to get ready to paint Jack Skellington with you guys. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. Just gonna give it a minute, well, maybe a few seconds for anybody else who wants to pop on. Let's see. Figured I'd say hi real quick. I got Regan in the background. She's watching TV, trying to be as quiet as possible. You want to paint? Mm-hmm. Okay, well you can grab your stuff and come on over in the corner to paint with me. Don't mind my living room is a mess, even though I asked Regan to clean it up.
You asked me and Nicholas to clean up and Nicholas
Alright.
to go.
But we're gonna paint the Jack Skellington picture that I put on Facebook, and I pulled it up on my computer over here on the side. So whenever sometimes my screen goes black, I might have to wake it back up. So if I get up, that's why. Regan, grab a canvas right over there, babe. Alright, I am going to reposition my camera so that way it points down at my picture, but I just wanted to say hi to you guys. Thank you guys for being on, and hopefully we can all paint together. So if anybody wants to paint along, feel free to get your stuff together and we'll go. Alright, so let's see. I'm just going to turn my camera around real quick. Hi, Kayla. Alright, let's see. Don't mind my camera.
Can I use your paints, Mommy? Do I have to paint him?
Let's see. Sorry guys, I am not good at switching this camera around. I definitely got to get like one of those like another camera so I can do a dual screen thing.
Mommy, can I paint whatever I want?
Hang on, Regan. Yeah, you can paint whatever you want, babe.
But you
Okay. Let's see. Okay. I think that's good enough for now. There we go. Alright, so for the background, I obviously always start with the background. I'm gonna mix some blue and black to make it kind of like a dark blue, but blue or black is such a powerful color that it doesn't take too much to get it to be darker. So I'm just gonna use up some paint that I had from some old paint kits that I didn't want to hand out anymore. Alright, but I'm just going to mix up some blue and black, so it's just a dark blue. Okay. Alright, and I've also, just so you guys know, I've also got my blow dryer handy because, as Kayla knows, because she's in a painting group with me, it's very, very important. Sometimes if you want to paint in a quick, short amount of time, you want to have a blow dryer with you so that way you can dry your painting quickly. But I'm just going to cover my canvas in this dark blue. It's okay if it's not mixed perfectly together. It doesn't always necessarily need to be perfectly blended. Alright, I'm just going to cover it kind of quickly because I'm going to want to get this dried so I can start working on Mr. Jack. And if you don't have your stuff to paint with me today, that's quite all right. You know, you can always definitely come back to this video later. I have the list of supplies that you'll need on a post from earlier today, and I'll add them in the description too. Well, in the comments, I'll post the stuff that I used.
Are you scared? I'm nervous.
Regan's trying to call me out here. She knows, and I always like to get the sides. But yeah, Regan's calling me out because she knows I don't like doing Facebook Lives. But if I want to have an art business
You have to
where,
do whatever
you know, where I'm teaching people how to paint, I have to sometimes suck it up and deal with it.
Deal with it.
Alright, so just painting on the edges. We'll dry this. We might even have to do a second coat because sometimes the first coat isn't always thick enough and can be a little streaky. Alright, but I always like to coat the sides because I think it just makes the whole painting just look a little bit more finished. Regan, what are you going to paint today?
I have no idea. I'm just taking out colors.
Regan wasn't going to paint with me, but when she heard that she had to be quiet, she changed her mind.
No, first I was like, no, then yes, then no, then yes, then no, then yes.
So I was actually, you know, I was thinking that I was gonna do a second layer, but I kind of like the streakiness to it. So I might actually just leave it as is. Kayla, are you just watching, or are you actually painting with me? Just curious.
She wants to know. You want to know what the paint group is.
I'm gonna just dry it real quick. Hopefully it's not too loud for you guys.
Well,
Uh-oh. I gotta plug it back in.
Well, then put it on mute if you don't want it to be so loud. Oh, can you put it on mute?
I don't know. I don't think you can mute a Facebook Live.
It's not that bad. Okay, now it is.
Hopefully it just goes real quick.
Look at
It shouldn't take too long because it's not a super thick coat of paint.
Mommy, look at. Mommy.
And it darkens a little, the color's darkening a little bit as it's drying, but we're almost dry. And then we'll work on the moon in the background. So if you're just joining in, I'm just blow drying my canvas real quick, and I am going to be painting Jack's picture of Jack Skellington, which I posted on my Facebook page earlier in the day. Some of my stuff is going around, but I think we're pretty good. So I'm going to be painting Jack Skellington. We just painted the canvas with, we mixed some blue and black paint together, so that way we could make a nice dark background. But we don't want it to be completely black. I thought about doing that, but Jack's outfit is completely black, so I don't want to completely wash it out. All right, so I'm going to do a pretty big circle here for the moon. All right, and we're gonna end up adding some yellow in a bit. I just want to get a nice, didn't dry the sides completely, which is okay. Because as Bob Ross says, there's no such thing as a mistake. It's a happy accident. So, and I love Bob Ross. I don't know if anybody else has watched Bob Ross.
You love him because he's an artist and you want to marry. You would paint on your own.
I know. That's because
You're a messy painter.
I am a messy painter. That is for sure, Regan.
As Regan says. I'm gonna use your water.
Alright, so I'm just taking my big brush and, oh, Regan, why did you use my water like that, babe?
I have no idea.
So I'm using my big brush, and I'm making a circle.
I'll get my own.
Yeah, you need to get your own. Hang on, guys. I gotta go get new water. She just ruined my water.
No, I didn't. to wash my hands.
Really? All right, so I'm just going to be, I'm doing a big white moon in the corner, and then we're going to do like a little bit of yellow on the outside of it, around the edges. All right. So it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Nothing in life, things rarely have to be perfect in life, because nothing really is. All right. And sometimes the moon has like dark shadows in it anyways, so I'm not gonna totally fill it in. I'm gonna add some yellow. You can just do this all while it's wet. And I do not have a steady hand, so don't mind me. Add some white because I kind of overlapped. And that's a nice thing about when you paint. You can just paint over something if you don't like it. Let's see. Add some more white to tone it down. Right, and when I'm done, when I get my moon where I want it, I am going to use the blow dryer again, so prepare yourself for that.
I forgot about a paper towel.
Yeah, get your own paper towel, babe. Okay. Almost done with the moon. This is just going to be kind of a quick painting. That's why I picked Jack, because it's Halloween and he's pretty simple because he's just a skeleton guy there. So
He looks hard.
Doesn't look hard. He's pretty easy.
His sweatshirt is hard.
Yeah, the sweatshirt might be a little, his jacket, his suit jacket or whatever it is that he wears might be a little hard, but we'll see when we get there. All right, I'm going to use the blow dryer again, so don't mind me.
Yeah, I just needed it.
You want me to dry your canvas?
No, I can. I'm not weak.
All right, Regan's gonna dry her canvas real quick, but while I'm waiting, I apologize for the noise. I'm gonna add a big white circle for Jack's head, and we might have to use the Regan. We might have to use the hair dryer again because we're gonna have to dry the head before we do the mouth and the eyes. All right, but his head is pretty round, and it's not perfectly round because there is a little bit of a point on the top. All right, let's see.
That dries fast with the hair dryer. A second ago I was wet and I just touched it and...
That's why I use the hair dryer. It makes it go real fast.
Yeah, now the hair dryer was a little too strong. The paints.
Okay.
Save the paints.
Sometimes I just try to kind of, because I'm not good at making perfect circles, I just kind of try to hold my brush and just kind of spin it around. Alright, but I think this is pretty good. I'm going to have to do a second.
The head?
Yep, this is going to be his head.
I thought you were making like a bump on the moon in the water.
Nope.
This light.
Alright, so we're just using solid white for this step.
Solid.
Okay.
Don't splash you.
My paper towel is messy. Thank you, Regan, for messing up my paper towel.
You're welcome.
Okay. Another quick blow dry.
Yeah.
to do another layer of white because white is a little bit transparent or translucent, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to brighten this up a little bit, thicken it up so we can't see through his head.
Yes, don't make his head look like a water in the water. Like a moon.
Okay. I did a time-lapse video today that I'm going to share with you guys tomorrow. It was a pretty cool video, I thought. It wasn't for anything like this. It was painting, but it was more of a fall theme painting. Something very easy that you guys can do and probably just get it right from the hyperlapse that I did. I'll be posting that tomorrow morning.
Yes, tomorrow I'm going.
But if any of you guys paint this and you want to, and whatever, you finish it, you want to paint with me or paint on your own, I would love to see your finished results. You can either post, share them on this post when you're done, or you can just message me privately if you don't want everybody to see it. But I always find it to be really cool when people do their paintings. Everybody always gets nervous and scared. There's this one lady, I'm at a farmer's market. I'm a vendor at a farmer's market on Wednesday or on Tuesdays, and there's this one lady who always comes in and she buys the paint kits. And she was nervous about her painting. She didn't think they came out good, but when I looked at them, I was really, really impressed with them. And hopefully I can convince her to send me the pictures so I could share them, because she was really, really good with it. But anyways, so I've got the head there now. I'm going to paint his neck. All right. So his neck is literally just a thin line. All right.
Literally.
I probably should have done this picture the other way so I could have gotten more of his coat in this picture at the end, but that's okay. I'm just going to mostly do his head and probably the tips of his coat at the top. Alright, but I'm going to add just the slightest hint of blue. So I don't know if you can see, I'm just mixing my paintbrush in this so that way I can get a little bit of blue, because I'm going to put it under his neck. And that's just to give like a shadow of his head. Okay. Because shadows are kind of important. Whenever you're painting, you want to give contrast. Oops. I'm kind of standing and sitting at the same time. It's not easy to do this when you're on a Facebook Live. So eventually I'll get it, guys.
Used to it.
Alright, but we just got a little bit of a shadow there. Nothing too heavy. Alright. And we'll paint the outline of his coat next. So that way we can wait for his head to dry without me having to use the blow dryer again, because I'm sure it's annoying. I'm just gonna wake up my computer. Let's see.
Oh.
Okay, so time for the coat. Alright, so we're going to use some straight black. I'm going to use this brush because we don't need anything crazy. Right now we want to work on detail. And I don't know if you can see, like if you look at the top of his coat, he's got those weird little things that kind of peek off. Alright, so we're just going to kind of go up, and they're kind of crooked, so don't think that they have to be straight. Alright, they do not have to be straight. They're definitely crooked in the picture, so. And he's got a little like bat head or something on his like collar. We'll do that at the end.
It's a dog.
Is it? It's not a dog. It looks like a bat head.
He's a dog because he has a collar.
Yeah.
He's a skeleton dog. But he does have a skeleton dog.
Yes, he does.
I've watched him.
I know, it's not a skeleton dog. I think it's a ghost dog.
No, it's a skeleton dog. I've seen
I think the dog flies, Regan. I'm pretty
it.
sure.
Okay. Well, then, do you want to watch the movie
All right,
tonight?
so we're just gonna go out like this. It kind of just looks like, like, I don't know. It kind of reminds. It looks like a mustache to me. Okay, and then we're gonna add another set of lines.
Wait, his mustache is down at his neck?
No, he doesn't have a mustache, Regan. I'm just teasing.
I know.
Saying it kind of looks like one.
His mustache is going to be down at his neck then.
If you've seen any of my Facebook lives, you know that my daughter loves to talk.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Oh.
She likes to be the center of attention.
I really don't.
It's all right. She's got a nice picture going on. She's got, I'll have to show you guys afterwards, but she's got a nice black picture with some green, Regan, with some green grass and some stars in the sky.
I have no idea what I'm going to put in the back.
All right, so we're going down because he's got like, I don't even know what they are, like little wings of his coat. But there's 3 parts that come off, so we're just going to make 3 of them. And again, I'm just doing this at an angle because it's kind of at an angle in the picture and most things are not perfectly straight.
You should have put the canvas like mine up. Then you would have had more room.
I know, I probably should have. All right, now I'm going to do a shoulder over here. So it's just going to come down. All right. We're not going to, I know right now it just, everything looks like a big blob. I'm just going to kind of paint this in.
The mustache is going
It just looks like a big blob right now because we haven't added any detail to it yet. All right, so don't worry, don't freak out that yours might not be that good. Everything always pulls through in the end.
And B's goods.
Okay.
And B's goods.
All right, so let's see. I think we'll work on the face next, but I'm gonna need to blow dry.
I'm doing a
again.
blow dry.
No, Regan, I need to do a blow dry. Yours is dry. What are you talking about?
Then you could do something on the way.
Thank you, babe.
Yes.
Okay. Don't do it too long, Regan, because your grass is pretty dry. So I'm gonna paint the eyes next, and then his mouth. His eyes and his mouth are super big, so you really can't go too wrong here. All right. But they're not circular shaped. They're kind of like an egg shape. So we're gonna. And you can, I would always, my recommendation, whenever you paint something that you're not sure about size, always start small because you can always make it bigger.
Oh no, I'm dizzy.
Alright, so don't be afraid. Start small. Like right now I already know that this eye is too small, but it's okay. I'm going to make it bigger. I just want to make sure the proportion is right. That's like, proportion is the hardest part of any painting. Or any drawing for that matter. Alright, so. And you can always fix things and make it look better with fine details once
What's this?
once you get proportion in place.
Is this like a butter knife?
No, that's a palette knife, Regan.
What's that?
A palette knife is for spreading paint instead of a paintbrush. She's going through my jar of paintbrushes.
Because I need one.
Alright,
Perfect.
oops, I got a little bit of white out here, which I'll fix in a second.
Yeah.
Alright, but
Got
we're
the
gonna
perfect one.
We're gonna make his eyes a little bit bigger. Okay. Remember, you can always change shape if you don't like the way something looks, just take your time. Painting is not a rushing game. So like whenever I watch Bob Ross, I was always wondering to myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, he paints this stuff so quick, he makes it look so easy. But he was also painting for years before he even got his TV show. And now when I paint, a lot of times I don't even paint on an easel. He painted on an easel. He was pretty good. I can't paint on an easel. I don't have a steady hand, so I always need to set my hand on the table, or sometimes on my canvas. Sometimes I'll use my other hand to steady my right hand. But while the eyes are wet, all right, I actually still don't even like the shape of this one eye. But while the eyes are wet, we will add some white to kind of give it a little bit of a shadow. Hang on, I'm gonna widen his eye here.
The shadows were black.
Well, that's true. It would be a reflection then, wouldn't it? Oh crap!
No.
I just got water on my canvas.
White water.
All right, if you get water on if you splash water, it's okay. Just use a piece of a dry paper towel and it'll come right off. All right.
But your background has to be dry.
I'm gonna fix this little blender too. Okay. All right, so a little bit of white. All right, and we'll just give it a little bit of shading or a little bit of a reflection. Not a lot. I know right now it looks like a lot, but we'll blend it. We're gonna just blend it right into the black paint because black takes right over. So you might not even really be, even once I blend in, you might not even be able to really see it on the camera. All right. There you go. It's hard to see on the camera, but that's all right. All right, so now we'll do the mouth. All right, his mouth is super, super wide. Okay, so we're literally going to go almost from one corner to the other corner. All right, I need to sit for this part. Oops.
You need to do the dog color and then white on his chest.
I will.
And the out and like the
I'm gonna start
when it goes out.
here.
And you also have to do the arms.
All right, sometimes you might just want to do an outline up on one side first.
With nose you can't smell. I wonder what he would look like.
Keep the top part of his mouth really thin.
I wonder what he would look like if he was a human.
I don't know.
He would have a big giant round head, a mouth that goes open with scars on it.
We don't really look like our skeletons.
I know, I'm just wondering what he would look like if he was a human.
Alright, so his mouth comes down pretty far. I might have made his mouth a little too tall, but that's okay.
No, it's perfect. It looks like a girl.
Alright, and then you can just fill it in.
Looks like a girl is teasing. Tease. Just without the teeth. The scars on his face are like teeth.
Alright, I think I did make his mouth too tall, but again, we can always fix that. So now people freak out a lot of times when they are making mistakes or if something doesn't look perfect, but like I said, you can always go back over it. That's the beautiful thing. That's the beautiful thing about paint.
Art's not perfect.
No, art's not perfect. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. I might just bring it up a little bit taller. Okay. Yeah, I think it's a little too tall up here. I should have come down a little bit lower. Maybe even made his eyes a little bit bigger. So, but that's okay. Alright, so I'm gonna add some shading. Now, for the shading, because black is, I'm gonna do Actually, I'll do the little nose, the slits for the nose first.
Can I do the blow dry for a second?
Sure.
Just need to do it for like a second. Scout, no. Don't lick the paint. That's bad for you.
Oops. Okay, I'm probably even, you know, as you're painting, you'll realize little things that you can change. I'm gonna make his eyes a little bit bigger. There, that looks a little bit better. Okay, so yeah, so now we'll do the shading. Before we do the stitches in his mouth, we'll do the shading, but you got to be careful with the shading because black is so powerful and we're going to be putting it on white. Again, we're going to still use some of that because I got a little bit of the dark blue that left there, so I'm just going to kind of water it down and maybe mix it in with a hint of the white. All right, now I gotta have a very light hand for this, and what I mean by that is don't apply a lot of pressure when you're painting the shadow because we're doing it on white. You can always make it darker, but you know, you don't want to have to go over it 100 times to get it lighter. All right, so I'm adding, oh, you probably couldn't see, I'm adding some more white to kind of just calm it down just a little bit. All right, and then I'm gonna go around his eyes. Well, probably more like underneath his eyes.
Can I dry
a little bit on the side.
Can I dry the hair real quick?
Regan, no, you don't need to dry every 2 seconds. Okay, we're gonna go around his nose as well. All right. Go around the eyes, around the nose. This is not the most perfect Jack Skellington, but that's okay.
Dang it.
A little bit around the top of his mouth. And that's the reason we waited for the stitches in his mouth, because he's got that shadow. Okay, and we didn't want to have to do the shadow in between the stitches. That would have been a little too difficult. Sometimes your brush gets dry and you might need to add a touch of water.
Mommy.
What, babe?
I could bring this hand sanitizer back to school.
And as you can see, I'm accidentally going a little bit on the black of his mouth, and that's okay because we can just go over it.
Excuse me.
Okay, probably gonna add a little bit more on this side. If you go over, again, don't worry. Black is really easy to cover things. All right. Okay. A little bit on the side. Gonna fix a little mistake there. Alright, and again I'm going to use some black to fix the mistakes that I overlapped on his mouth. Okay, and a little bit on his eyes. Okay, so now that we've added the shadow, we'll add the stitches to his mouth. This part is pretty easy because it's just little tiny black lines, but you want to make sure that you have a brush that comes to a point. So it's a little hard to see, all right, but it comes to a pretty fine point. All right, and we're just gonna put a little tiny bit of black paint on. We're not going to do anything crazy. You don't want it to be real thick. Maybe even twirl it like this to just get it to an even sharper point. Regan, can you wake up my computer there? Alright, so Regan, can you make it bigger? Actually, you probably don't know how.
I do.
You do? That little plus thing there? And then move the thing over.
I know how to do it. Go sit down.
All the way over. All the way, Regan. Alright. Alright, thank you, babe. Alright, so we're just gonna...
Okay, that's good. Like that. You said all the way over.
Yes, that's the way I wanted it. Now his stitches in the picture are not perfectly even. They can go in different directions. I'm gonna... Alright, and again we want to make sure we keep it very sharp. If your brush starts to get dry, you need to add a little bit of water or a little bit of black paint. I try to do this part kind of quickly because if I don't, then I might end up with too dry of a brush, and I don't want that to happen. Okay, a little bit more on the bottom. I'm definitely making a mess out of my hands, guys. No, not yet.
Not yet. How dare they?
Yep. Alright, I think I even might want to add some more white to the moon, because now that the moon is starting to dry, it's starting to look a little transparent. But I'm also going to add some white to his mouth. And the mouth is still wet, so it'll blend okay. Alright, we want a little bit of a shadow in there. Or I'm sorry, a little bit of a reflection. I gotta stop mixing up my words. Okay.
Mommy.
Yes, babe. Oops. Again, if you add too much white in one area, just wash it out with some black.
I'm still not finished. I only have one more thing to do.
Okay. Let's see. We'll add some more white to the moon. I'm gonna use my big brush for that. Okay. I'm gonna kind of keep it a little round. I don't need to go over the whole moon with white because I don't want to wash out the yellow that I had in there. Okay. Let's see. Now, if you notice, like on the top of his head, I've got like a little bitty bump there, so I can either do a little bit more white up top, or I can just take some of that dark blue that I still had left on my plate, and I can just kind of go along the edge to kind of get rid of that bump. Just little ways. There's a lot of options you have when it comes to painting. Okay. Alright, so now that that's done, we're going to add some white lines to his coat, and then we'll add the bat head. Actually, I need to add the white for his shirt. So I'm going to add the white for the shirt. Sorry, guys. Getting out of order here.
You really are.
Alright. So if you notice, like, it almost comes all the way up to the top. Alright, and you just swipe down. Alright. We'll even kind of comes out like that. Alright. I like to Again, I like to go on the sides of the canvas too. It makes it look, I think it makes it look more clean and professional. All right. Hey, Margaret. I see Margaret is on. Kayla's on.
How do you know?
Because I can see who's on. Alright. Alright, so we got the white for his coat. And now we'll just do the white lines. Again, these are going to be really thin lines. So you want to make sure that you have a brush with a fine point. Okay, mine has a really fine point on it. And we're just going to, you know, make sure your brush is wet and you get some white on it. But again, see how it clumps up at the end when you put any color on it. If you want to get it to a fine point, you're going to take your brush, put it on the plate, and just kind of twist it until it comes to the fine point that you want it. I don't know if you can see. There we go. Can you move the camera down or the painting up just so I can see the bottom? Oh, I just realized that my camera is probably
100 years old.
No, it's probably
You have a lot of
sideways actually.
You have a lot of paint.
Sorry, I am not good with the camera, guys.
You are messy.
Hang on. Trying to move the camera for Kayla.
Camera.
Kayla, you're gonna have to let me know when it's good for you. Oops. No, you're not a pain. Can you see it now? Or is it... Do I have to move it up? I taped it in place, so... Is that better? I think that might be better. Alright, so so again, you want the fine point on your paintbrush. Alright, Regan, please move, babe. Alright, and we're gonna outline the his shirt. Alright, with a very thin line. So don't mind if you see my head in the picture, in the camera. We're just gonna do a thin line. I need to make sure my hand is stable. Okay. Alright. So just a thin line. This is probably going to be the hardest part, is the thin line part. A lot of people have a hard time doing that. Again, I don't have the most steady of hands. So we're just gonna, as you can see, I'm resting my hand on the table. Because I don't have a steady hand, it helps me keep it stable. Alright, and in the picture, like it's okay because, so as you can see, my white line is a little grainy and it comes a little brighter in some spots than others. That's okay because it's that way. It's the same way in the picture. You know, he's kind of got, you know, he's a representation of kind of like death. I'm not a huge fan of Jack Skellington. I don't even know why I'm painting him. Probably because everybody else likes him. But anyways, so he's a representation of death. So I think that his coat and the lines are supposed to be kind of beat up and nothing perfect. But we're just going to make it just kind of come to a point. So it starts off like with a wider gap here and it comes pretty close to the tip here, showing that, I don't know, again, I don't know what these are. His collar kind of comes to a point. Alright. Alright, and it's okay to get more paint on your brush, more water, whatever you need to bring it to that fine tip. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm kind of resting my hand. If you see, my pinky is kind of holding my hand stable because I have a shaky hand. I'm just using it to keep my hand stable on the table. And it's okay even if it's shaky because, again, clothing is kind of, if you look at clothing, it's kind of wrinkled as it is. So it gives the illusion of wrinkles in the clothes. Alright. I'm smudging my white paint down here a little bit, but that's okay because we can always go back in and fill it in. Okay, we're just going to do, we're going to do the same thing on each little piece that comes off of his collar. Okay. Let's see. Sorry, sometimes I get quiet when I'm concentrating. Alright, but like I said, this is probably going to be the hardest part, okay? And you don't want them to come like all the way down here, your lines. You want them to kind of be concentrated up here in the middle because that's where it kind of comes from. Let's see, so we got that. I think we're doing pretty good, guys. But again, as you can see, sometimes it doesn't always look pretty to start. Sometimes when I'm painting something, I'm like, oh man, this really looks horrible. And then as I'm doing it, as I'm painting and finishing up, I'm like, you know what, that really doesn't look as bad as I thought it did originally. Okay. I gotta be careful. I'm putting very little pressure on this, guys, because I don't want my brush to make the lines too wide. So when you don't put a lot of pressure on it, it will allow you to have thinner lines. Okay, just a little bit more on the lines. Okay. If you guys ever have any ideas of anything that you would like to see me paint, like during a Facebook Live or anything like that, you know, feel free to comment and share like anything. I would love to actually paint something that you guys are interested in right now because I've only done a few Facebook Lives and I'm trying to gauge what, you know, what my followers would like to see. It's kind of a guessing game right now. So don't be afraid to give me feedback and let me know what you guys would like. Alright, and I'm pretty much done with that part. And now I'm going to do, so I'm going to do the, I don't know what they're called, on the side of his shirt. The little, I don't know what they're called. But anyways, so I'll just draw them in and you guys can see what I'm talking about. So he's got these little things that come down on the sides of his coat. If I wore a suit, maybe I would know what they're called.
A suit?
Well,
a jacket?
It's part of his jacket. I don't know what it's called. It's where it comes together.
It's called a skeleton jacket.
Regan, that's not what I'm talking about. Alright, so I'm going to go down with that.
He's down here. And he's wearing it.
Alright, and so we'll do some downward stripes for this, but I'm going to give it a little bit of a reflection of light. And again, we're still just using the white. I don't have a lot of white on my brush, so it's not really bold. I can add some water to even give it a little bit smoother of a line. Okay. Alright, and the lines on his coat that are going up and down, those lines are a little bit more smooth. For some reason the lines on his collar are kind of like really crinkly. And these lines are diagonal, so we'll just throw in some diagonal lines. Alright, I'm getting down on the bottom, guys, because as I told you, I like to get the edges of my canvas. Alright, now we'll do the vertical lines. You probably need a little bit more paint. Oh, Regan, can you wake my computer back up? Actually, I might not even need it back up, but... Alright, so we'll do... I'm going to outline it first. Alright. So we'll just do some vertical lines. I think my paint is a little too thick, so I'm going to add some water to thin it down. I'm always sticking my hand in paint. Try to make sure when you guys paint, don't be like me, don't stick your hand in paint.
On accident. On purpose.
No, just, you know, if you stick your hand in paint and you don't always realize, and then you touch your painting, then you get a weird color on your canvas that you might not want, or color in the wrong spot.
But stick with it.
Okay, and I'm just doing these ones.
I've been
Downward.
finished for like an hour.
Oh, you're finished with your picture?
Yes.
You want me to show it to everybody, or do you want to wait till the end?
Wait till the end, but you're taking
I'm almost done. I might even add some stars in the background, guys. There's no stars in my picture, but I do like to make stars. And I have a pretty easy method for making stars.
I have stars.
Okay.
Mommy, I have stars.
Alright, so we added that. Let's see.
Mommy, I have stars in mine.
Yeah? Alright, I'm just fixing that spot that I messed up earlier. Okay. Just filling that in. Alright. Now time for the bat head.
Batman.
Not Batman, bat head.
No.
Oh man, my phone is ringing. My boss is calling me.
Well,
I'll have to call him back. Hopefully it's not an emergency.
Hopefully he doesn't fire you.
Alright, so I'm gonna make kind of like a candy corn shape. An upside down candy corn shape. Actually, I don't know if it's upside down or not, but it's a candy corn shape nevertheless. Like a triangle with curved edges.
Now you're making me want candy corn.
And then I'm gonna add little points up here. Hang on, my unsteady hand.
You're making me want
For the
candy
ears.
corn since you said candy corn.
Let's see, guys. I think that looks pretty good. So he has some highlights on him, and because this is already wet, it'll make it easy to smooth out the reflections. So as you can see, it's actually starting to come together, and actually it's starting to look like Jack. In the beginning, I wasn't so sure. I got a little nervous, especially being on Facebook Live.
Yeah, you're so nervous every time. I'm not nervous because I've been to 3 recitals
Alright,
with like
so
100 people.
Regan, babe, you're talking an awful lot.
No, I'm not.
Alright, so I'm just adding some weight in, and it's kind of like blending out. So you might even have to, if you just painted it, you might have to add some more weight. But again, it'll help make a smooth blend.
Chopsticks.
Because it's wet.
I don't know how to use chopsticks.
And then, Regan, can you hit the thing on the computer? I think he's got white eyes. I just want to make sure. So I think the little bat has white eyes.
I wonder if he doesn't have the white eyes.
I'm pretty sure he's got little white eyes. Regan, patience, babe.
No, see.
Regan, you gotta make it bigger. And I see white eyes on him. I see something. Alright, she's making my screen bigger so I can see for sure. Alright, he does. He's got little eyes.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
He doesn't have little people.
The bat on his shirt. So he's got little white eyes.
I thought I didn't know that you were doing the bat, not the actual one.
Okay.
Little people.
Alright, so I think for the most part we're done with him. I am going to add some stars, so let me just go grab a brush real quick. Because what you want for stars, when you add stars, you want a brush that's got some pretty like sturdy bristles. Regan, can you stop doing that, please?
This one has very sturdy bristles. This one has dirty bristles.
Regan, babe, please. No, I don't need that one.
Oh my god. I use this one. Wonder what that is.
Okay. So I've got this brush, and this one's good because, as you can see, it's not like super flimsy bristles. They're pretty stiff. And so when we make stars in the background, we're going to get some white. All right, we're going to put a little bit of white on the paper plate. All right, and we're going to add some water to it. So I'm just going to use my paintbrush to add some water. It's a little bit of dirty water, but that's okay. So, and I'm just going to mix it up. All right, this will make kind of like a very liquidy paint. But because I have a brush with pretty stiff bristles, this is going to splatter right onto my picture. All right, so I'm just getting it wet. You can see there's not a lot of paint because it's so watered down. All right, but I'm just going to take my brush like this. All right, I'm going to hold it like this. I don't know if you can see. Let's see. And I'm just going to kind of splatter some stars. Okay. And because I did this after I did the picture, I'm probably going to end up with some stars on his like face and eyes and stuff. But we can always fix that.
His eyes are so see-through that you can see the stars. He looks like an alien.
Alright, so I did end up with obviously some stars on, some white splatters on his mouth. But we will just cover them back up. I'm gonna use the thin tipped brush again, just because we don't have a lot to cover up and I don't want to ruin anything. All right, so I'm just gonna go back through real quick, touch up a little bit on the black part. I should have done this the other way, guys, but again, that's okay. Sometimes you just, there's no stars in the picture that I painted that I was looking at for reference. So sometimes you might come up with an idea that you want to incorporate afterwards. As long as you know how to like fix something, it's okay. It's okay to change things. All right, I think we're just about done here. The last thing that you always want to do whenever you do any picture, you always want to make sure you sign it. Take credit for your work, even if you are not super proud of it at first. You definitely want to sign it because it's your work and you can see the progress and it shows other people the progress you've made. So I'm going to use white and I'm going to sign my name on the side.
I'm going to use white too.
I'm going to do it right in the corner. And I will show you guys Regan's picture in a second. I'll lift the camera back up in a second. Okay, if anybody painted that or if you're going to paint it, please share. I would love to see the finished results, and if anybody has anything that they want to see me paint in the future, feel free to share. But this is the finished result. Let me unstick it. It's a little bit, I think I might have it sideways, guys. I apologize. I think that whole video was sideways. Alright, but that is my Jack Skellington. Alright, hang on. I'm going to turn the camera around. And I'm going to put it down. So don't mind me for a second, guys. You're going to see my ceiling. Alright, let's see. Can we fix this?
I want to show my picture.
Yep, hang on. Alright. Ooh, I fell. That's crooked. Not working. Alright, sorry guys. I'm very bad with cameras. Alright, but I've got Jack. Alright, I think he came out pretty good. Let's see. Still gotta dry. It'll look even better once it dries. This is, again, just a quickie. If I had more time, I might make it a little bit better with a little bit more care. Alright, Regan, go ahead and show yours. Alright, so this is Regan's picture. Regan, is that you down there? Are you looking at shooting stars?
It's like me and you. I have purple hair, you have red hair, and we're sitting on a red blanket looking at like shooting stars in the beautiful moon.
Very nice. Alright. But if you guys look close, you guys can see. See the cool splatter effect that the paint, that you know, the white star when I did, wow, I'm tongue-tied. The paintbrush, when I splattered the thinned out white paint, it made a nice star effect. Alright, so
Mommy.
there we go. So I will be doing more lives. Again, I don't want to just paint stuff that you guys are not interested in, so if there's something that you're interested in that you want to see me paint, feel free to share, send me ideas. I'm always up to try different things when it comes to painting. I would love to do what you want to see. Alright, so thank you guys for watching tonight. I don't know how long it was yet, but I'm gonna head out, say goodnight, and tomorrow morning I'm gonna post a hyperlapse video. And then I also, I have something cool that I want to do coming up probably in a couple weeks. I know it's still early for Christmas, but I want to do some Christmas trees. So the ceramic Christmas trees, we'll paint those. I'll show you guys how to do it. I will even include a link where you can purchase your own ceramic Christmas tree, and I'll have 3 different sizes, which will be in some nice variety. Like I'm very excited for it. I know it's still a few weeks away, and it's still early, but I think it'll be fun. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.